To make a prediction, how many floors or what height will the tallest building be in the year 2050, and why?
So actually, I might predict that the tallest building will appear in the Middle East. You know that currently the Empire building, which is under construction right now, with the height of 1,001 meters, will not change until 2050. The reasons are as follows. First of all, the emerging markets, especially in China, we can see that the demands for the high-rise building has become more rational, especially talking about the government and the marketing demands. They are more rational than before. And also, we have to link the demand of the society with the cost for construction and operation, so they have to be equal. And also, you can see that talking about the developed markets like the US, Europe, and Japan, we can see that the number of the high-rise buildings have been decreased, or even there is nothing under construction right now. So as a result, you can see the tallest building now in the Middle East will keep its height 1,001 meters until 2050, and that's the reason.
What is the optimum height, or the best height, for a truly sustainable tall building, if there is one? And what factors influence that calculation?
So actually, towards this question, I think we have two factors. The first one, I think, is related to the market demand and technical development. You know that 100 years ago, that the tallest building would always had like 30 to 50 floors, but in the 1950s, the number of floors has been increased to 100 floors, and now we have the height exceeding 1,000 meters already. So this is closely related to the demand of the market. And second of all, of course, related to the technology or technological development that we are having now. And especially we have to talk about whether the high-rise building with the number of floors can sustain its operational cost that you invested into this building. So I think that the height is kind of not an absolute value, but a dynamic value, or the number of floors should be dynamic.
What are some uses of tall buildings that you feel have been underexplored to date?
So actually, towards this question, I think there are two functions that are not deployed. First of all, in terms of the landscape, that is to say, now only the people inside the building can enjoy the certain landscape over the certain floors, but none of the other, like non-occupants, cannot use or cannot enjoy the scenery. And second of all, in terms of operation, because you can see for different period of time, we have different usage for this building. But I think the efficiency of the operation or the efficiency of the use of the high-rise building has not been deployed enough right now. So in the future, we really need to solve those two kind of under-deployed functions by giving us better designing and also better operation. So I think that we have to maximize the value of the high-rise building.
What do you think the traditional horizontal cities of China or of the world can teach the new vertical cities that we see here and around the world?
So I think that in terms of the horizontal city, you know that the advantage should be a very convenient transportation and also a very good kind of communication among people. And for the vertical kind of city concept, you know, the disadvantage would also be the low efficiency for the communications for the people inside and also around it. So, however, we do have some reference, or we do have think about some advantages of the vertical city. For example, the vertical kind of a high-rise building will become the icon or the kind of representative for the whole city and provide more as a spiritual function to the city and people around it. And of course, in the future, we do need to improve certain factors for the vertical high-rise buildings, like the energy efficiency as well as the supplementary functions, a fully explored function, in order to let all the vertical high-rise building to become a comprehensive, integrated kind of identity for the city.
What do you think is the key challenge or some of the key challenges facing tall building development in Chinese cities?
So I think that basically there are three kind of challenges. The first challenge would be the high-rise building development must meet the regional demand. That is to say, the government must have a very good planning before and have a very precise industrial positioning for this building, rather than blindly deploy any kind of high-rise building in the tier 2 or tier 3 cities. So the government must think about where can we put this building and what should be the height and what kind of function should this building have. Second of all, the second challenge would be that for developers, they must have a very appropriate business model and the operation model as well as the cash flow for the high building. And thirdly, I think the value for the high-rise building towards the city and society as a whole is very important. That is to say, the value itself and when should this building deliver its value to the society.
My last question, environmental issues obviously are hugely important in China and everywhere around the world going forward. How specifically, or what's the obligation of tall building developers and designers to address sustainability, and how should they do so going forward?
So I think that I may have kind of three kind of points. First of all, you know that we have to have a very kind of a clear positioning by the designers and also the developers. You all know that for the high-rise building, the disadvantage would be the inconvenience for the transportation and especially for the flow of goods, the flow of people and flow of vehicles. And you know, and also another very important thing is for the firefighting or fire extinguishing kind of issues. So when people can get in but cannot get out when a fire broke out, there will be a very big issue. So we have to solve that. And second of all, in terms of the cost, especially the cost for construction, because of the environmental friendly material that we use and system we use, we have to optimize the cost for construction. And also thinking about the operation, what would be the pollution, potential pollutions in the future. For example, the light pollution or the decreasing for the energy efficiency, etc. We need to have a very good sustainable solution for that. And thirdly, in terms of the comfort and sustainability regarding the human using this type of building. You know that nowadays in the city or the cities in China, there are a lot of so-called integrated buildings, but actually several years later, this building, in terms of the technology or the comfortability, will be lag behind compared to new high-rise buildings. So, as I have said, we have to solve those problems by giving and implementing the sustainable solutions before we can have a very good sustainable building.